Hare Krishna. So we have our third session now about our spiritual steadiness, the seminar. So in our first session we spoke about basis of our spiritual progression. And what is it? Anyone remembers?
Shraddha.
Shraddha. Yes. What does Shraddha mean?
Faith.
Faith. And in what we should have faith?
Krishna.
Krishna. What we especially mentioned and stressed? Shastra. Yes. We should have Shastriya Shraddha. Because we hear many things even from devotees which is not based on Shastra. So we should be very careful not to have blind faith in whatever we hear, but we should inquire. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. We live for inquiry. Yes, our life is meant for inquiry. So we shouldn't accept anything blindly. It should be based on Shastra. Vedas don't support spiritual laziness. We many times repeated this, and we should always remember this, that we should inquire. Always, at all times, and in every place, directly and indirectly. What is the absolute truth? Not just truth, but absolute truth. Yes. So, Shastra, faith in Shastra should be our basis on which we... And that's why Prabhupada said the books are the basis. Because Shastra are books, and these are the basis of our understanding. Yes. So we should be very diligent to know Shastra. Then we discussed about Bhajana Kriya. Today we'll be discussing now, but then we discussed Sadhu Sangha in this morning. Yes, because when we acquire faith, in order to proceed anywhere, we should have good association, and especially association of our spiritual master. We should take this step to deepen our devotional service and accept spiritual guidance in our life. Yes, this is also very important, to have spiritual guidance, because the tendency in this material world is to be independent. We all want to be independent, but this is detrimental for our spiritual progress, this independent mentality. Maybe it's not nice to hear, but it's true. Yes. So we shouldn't be independent. So that's why we should accept spiritual guidance, and not just for, of course, just for this reason, but for many reasons. We need someone who is experienced, who can teach us. Of course, many people think in this world that for material subject matters they need teachers, but for spiritual subject matters they don't. They think that I feel something in my heart, and this is enough. Or maybe it's even better than to read anything, because that will distract my connection, spiritual connection. But of course, if you ask them if they need a teacher for maths, they are sure they need. But as we said, for mathematics, it's much easier to penetrate this knowledge, because we have intelligence and mind and logic that we can deal with mathematics. But with spirit we cannot deal with anything, because it's beyond our perception, beyond our our mind and intelligence. So we don't have any tools to enter the spiritual realm. So we need someone who has already entered it. Yes. Okay. So this is sadhu sangha, and of course we don't have only association of our spiritual master. We have also association of devotees, and we also stressed how important it is that we have association of good devotees, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that there are also, especially in Kali Yuga, this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, many so-called devotees, and he entitled them Dharma Dvajis. Dvaji means the flag, and they wave the flag of Dharma. I'm devotee. You see, I have tilak, kantimala, and so on. But if they are not sincere in their devotional service, they are more detrimental for our spiritual progress than materialists. Why is that? You have an idea?
Because they teach something, so we think we are on a spiritual path, but actually we're not.
Also this? Any other idea? It's true, certainly. Please don't be shy.
Blind faith.
Blind faith? Yes, also because they don't inquire.
With half-truths, it's sometimes more dangerous because you think this is right, and then you follow this, but it leads not to the goal. And if you see the materialist, you see it's completely nonsense, and then you can reject it.
Yes, definitely. And it's also other aspect, because they're not strict in their devotional service, and they don't follow us properly. We tend to seek excuses. Oh, he doesn't do it, why should I? So it kills our enthusiasm. Yes. And enthusiasm, as we said when we discussed Shastra, faith in Shastra is sign that we really have faith. Because if we have faith in something, then we will be enthusiastic. Yes. Without faith, we won't be enthusiastic in anything. So Krishna says that in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Yo yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhararchu chamichati tasya tasyachalam shraddam tameva vidadam yaham. That whatever you want to achieve, whatever you want to believe, he strengthens this faith in you. He gives you this faith. So if you want to achieve something wrong, he will also make your faith in your wrong direction strong. Because otherwise you'll be lost. If you don't have faith in anything, you'll be lost. You'll be completely without any direction in life. So in order to have any direction at all, you have to have faith in whatever. Even atheists, he said, ardent atheists have full faith in their misconceptions, of course. Yes, they're fanatic believers, blind believers, in fact. Blind, because they don't base their faith on anything. Yes. So we shouldn't be blind believers. We should base our faith in Shastra. And of course, it's not just faith. There is always, when we have faith, we always act upon our faith, and then we gather experience. So Krishna says in 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. That this is the king of all knowledge, Raja Vidya. And Raja Guhyam, this is king of all secret things. This is a mystery. Pavitra means most pure. And it's Uttamam. Tamas means what?
Mode of darkness.
Yes, darkness. And this word is Tamas, is Tama. And it's also said in the Bible, in the beginning it was complete darkness. Then Lord created light. But when there is not sources of light, it's darkness. If there is no sun or moon or electricity, then just darkness. So this world is world of darkness. And this is Uttama, beyond darkness, this knowledge. Beyond darkness. That means transcendental. Transcendental. Yes. And it's Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam. We can experience it directly. If we practice it, we shall experience it directly. Yes. Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartuvayam Avyayam. And we will be Susukam. Sukam means happy. Sukam means happy. And Susukam, this prefix Su, means utmost happy, ultimately happy, blissful. Yes, and this is, of course, our goal, to be blissful. Ananta Mayobhyasat, it says in Vedanta Sutra. So we seek for this happiness in every our action, every our word, every our thought, in fact. We seek for this absolute pleasure. Yes. And as we said, Sutta Goswami explained in second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Savai pumsam parodharmo yato bhaktira dokshache ahaitukya pratihata yatma suprasidati. In order to Atma to be suprasidati, that means again blissful. Prasidati means happy, and suprasidati means completely happy. We should strive for what? Ahaituki bhakti. Ahaituki bhakti. And what does it mean, ahaituki bhakti? Unconditional love. Not just love, but unconditional love. And it should be apratihata, uninterrupted. Then only we will be suprasidati. Suprasidati. Yes. If we interrupt our love, then at that moment we would be miserable. Only if we have uninterrupted love, we can be suprasidati. Yes. Okay. So first, of course, as we said, we should inquire faith about this process of devotional service, and this love, uninterrupted love, of course, should be directed towards Adokshaja, the Supreme Lord, the one who is beyond our perception. Aksha means eyes, and Adokshaja is the one who is beyond our sense perception, beyond our eyes. Yes, this is Adokshaja. So why we shouldn't direct our love anywhere else? Just for Adokshaja. Why just for Adokshaja?
Because everything else is temporary.
Because everything else is temporary. Yes, exactly. And this is also explained by Krishna in 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Ye hi sansparshacha bhoga dukkha yona evati adyantavantah kauntena teshu ramate buddha. And that means that the wise don't seek pleasure in something which is temporary, because it has its adi, its beginning, and anta, its end. And the the same thing that brings us pleasure in this world, it causes misery and distress. Yes. Because no sane person would like the thing that gives him happiness to be finished, isn't it? So if we base our happiness on things that are or relationships that are temporary, we'll be miserable. Guarantee. 100%. Yes, no doubt about this. So if the basis of our life are things from this world, that means family, or wealth, friends, anything from this world will be miserable sooner or later, and usually sooner than later. Yes, but then someone would think that we should move to jungles or in Himalayas and to cut all our relationship here in this world. Do you think this is the right solution? Why not?
We should do our duties, because if we are cutting off from the world, that means we're in the mode of ignorance.
Yes.
Ignoring the problems of the world.
Yes. So, of course, if we have uninterrupted and unconditional love for Adokshaja, for the Lord, we have also unconditional love for every living entity, in fact. Also for our family members. They're not excluded. Yes, and it will be based much deeper if we develop love for the Lord. Yes. And we have deeper understanding of these relationships. So, as we will see today, there are many misconceptions can be found in the beginning of spiritual journey. Yes. Okay, so then after, of course, these stages we discuss, they're not just limited to one stage, but they extend through all the stages. So if we say from Shraddha to Bhajana Kriya, then to Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya and Anartha Nivriti and so on, that doesn't mean that we should give up devotee association when we start the stage of Bhajana Kriya, or that we give up faith when we acquire Sadhu Sangha. We always have faith, and we always keep association of devotees, and we always serve. Yes, so and we always, of course, strive to remove every obstacle in our devotional service. Yes, so when we acquire association of good devotees who are very serious in their attitude, then we are naturally engaged in devotional service, and this is called Bhajana Kriya. Kriya means work, and Bhajana means service. Yes, worshipping, service. And Acharyas describe that there are different obstacles in our service, in our consciousness, of course, not just outside of us. And the first obstacle is utsahamayi. That means false confidence. Because when we receive spiritual knowledge, we tend to think, yes, I know everything. And we learn some shloka, and we think we know everything, and so we want to be recognized as great scholar, great devotee, and so on. It's called Utsahamayi. Yes. So in all aspects of our devotional service, we should be very careful to keep ourselves, our consciousness, very humble. Yes. So, because humbleness is the key. It's said by Lord Chaitanya, Trinada Pisanichana Torori Vasa Hishnana Amanina Mana Dina Kirtanaya Sadahari. That we can chant the holy name, we can connect with Krishna. In fact, chanting of his holy names is connection to Krishna. Only in very humble state of mind. If we are, as Prabhupada said, that we feel more humble than a straw in the street. And that we should be more tolerant than a tree. Tree is standing in when it's freezing outside, and it's standing when it's very, very hot, and it gives shade to everyone who approach him, even to those who come to cut him down. And it gives wood to cook on it or to get warm. So and then we should be amanina. That means that we don't have a desire to be honored by anyone. So this is natural. If we, for example, say Hare Krishna to someone and he doesn't even sees us, we tend to be very disturbed. Why didn't he say Hare Krishna back, or anything like this? And if we try to be nice with someone and he's very harsh to us, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mayi ki jai, Shashi Gaur Nitai ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanandi, Hari Bol. And if we are nice to someone and they are harsh to us, we are also feel offended. Yes. So this is desire for honor, and we should get rid of this desire. And then we should be ready to offer all respects to others. Yes. Only in this state of consciousness we can always chant the holy name. Yes. To be always connected with God, so that our bhakti would be apratihata, uninterrupted. We should have this state of consciousness. Yes. So Utsahamayi means that we are very confident and proud, in fact. Instead of humble, we become proud. And next is Ghanatarala. That means thick and thin. Our devotional practice tends to be sometimes very enthusiastic. We get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, chant all our rounds or even some extra round, and we come to Mangalarati and we read all day Prabhupada's books. But next day we said, oh, I chanted so much yesterday. I have to have a little break today. I'm so tired. I will sleep till 11 o'clock. So our devotional service is thick and thin. Sometimes very enthusiastic, and other times not so enthusiastic. Yes. Yes. And this, of course, we should be very careful not to fall in this trap. This is, of course, one of the traps in our devotional practice. There are a lot of traps. Yes. And the next one is Vyuda Vikalpa. And this Vyuda Vikalpa means that we don't know exactly what is beneficial for our devotional service and what's not. And we think, what should I do? Should I leave my family and go to Vrindavan? Or go to ashram? Or should I take care of my family and do what they say, or what should I do? Basically, in fact, all these different thoughts and different solutions for our spiritual progress come from material point of view, about our way of living. You understand? It has nothing to do with our consciousness. Of course, we tend to think that if I will live like this, my consciousness will be much better. But this is illusion, of course, because bhakti is paramasvatantra, completely independent. We can practice Krishna consciousness in whatever situation we are in fact. Even if you are sick, and it is exemplified by Kadamba Kanana Maharaj. He was in his deathbed, and he was chanting 16 rounds. He couldn't pick up his beads, but he was chanting 16 rounds. And Jayadvaita Maharaj was with him, and he said, Maharaj, it's no need to chant 16 rounds for you now in this condition. It's causing you too much trouble and pain and so on. One mantra is counted as 1 round for you. But he said, Maharaj, please don't give me this instruction. Yes, please don't give me this instruction. I promise to chant 16 rounds. It's my life and soul. So, yes, even if you are on deathbed, we can still practice devotional service. And of course, we can immerse ourselves in Krishna. And this is very important instruction for us, because whatever will be our absorption in our life, this absorption will have at the time of death. As we discussed, that people tend to believe in miracles. And especially they believe that miracle will happen at the time of death. I'm coming from Christian background, and I can say that many Christians live very materialistic life, ordinary materialistic life. They may go to church once a week on Sundays, maybe not, but they tend to think, I believe majority or all of them, that they're good people, and at the time of death they'll go to heaven. And so they believe in complete change of their existence. Now they're materialistic, and when death will come, death will bring some miracle in their life and complete change of existence. Isn't it true? And atheists also believe in miracles. They think, now I exist, and when death will come, I will exist no more. This is also a miracle. He also believes in complete change of existence. Isn't it true? Yes. Because now I exist and now I don't exist at all. This is complete change of existence. Yes. But Krishna says that it's no miracle, in fact, at the time of death. Yam yam vapismaram bhavan tyajantyante kalivaram tam tam aveti kaunteya sadatat bhava bhavitaha. And also devotees, before I translate this verse, many devotees, especially if they're not very sincere, you will hear like this, that Krishna is very merciful. But has Krishna become merciful just recently? Or is he eternally merciful? Eternally merciful. Yes, but still we are here in material world. And many of the devotees who have this power, at least they say so, to see in previous lives, they say for many devotees that they had some devotional life before Krishna consciousness, before this present life. Isn't it true? So Krishna was merciful even at that time, but still we are still in material world. That means whatever state of consciousness we have at the time of death, this is the translation of what Krishna says in 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, whatever state of consciousness we have at the time of death, that consciousness will just continue. No miracle at the time of death. No miracle. So, whatever is our focus during our lifetime, that will be our focus also at the time of death. Because death is traumatic experience. It's not easy experience, it's traumatic experience. All our bodily functions stop. Our heart tend to stop, our lungs, our kidneys, everything is closing down. So our mind will be completely disturbed at that time if we don't focus during our lifetime on Krishna. Yes. So our focus should be always on Krishna. Always on Krishna. And if we cannot do this, as Krishna says several times in Bhagavad Gita, in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mayeva mana adatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya, niveshishyasi mayeva ata urdvam asamshaya. Yes, Mayeva mana adatsva. Mana means mind. So, only in me, Eva means certainly, only. Mayeva mana adatsva. So, you should devote our mind to me, only to me. Mayi buddhim niveshaya, and your intelligence should be fixed on me. And thus, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivestishasi mayeva, and so you will certainly abide in me, so you live with me, without any doubt. But in the next verse he says, atachetum samadatum nashaknoshi mayistiram, Abhyasa yogena tato mamim chaptum dhananjaya. But if you cannot fix your mind as like this on me, just practice. Devote yourself to abhyasa. That means training of our mind. Like if we practice some musical instrument, for example, if we want to master it, of course we have to train, to practice and practice and practice. And if we, for example, if we want to become a gold medalist in the Olympic Games, we of course have to train and train and train. So Krishna also says, if you cannot fully absorb your mind, then practice. Devote yourself to sadhana. Sadhana means practice, spiritual practice. Yes, and thus you will train your mind to fix on me, and not just this, mam ichaptum dhananjaya. You will develop desire to attain me, and this is very important. Because of our deep desire, then we will always think of Krishna, and also at the time of death, because we will always focus on our mind on Krishna, or at least practice this, then naturally we will turn to Krishna at the time of death also. And if we are focused on Krishna at the time of death, we'll just continue this spiritual existence. As Krishna says also in 8th chapter, Anta kale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samat bhavam yati nastyatra samshaya. Anyone who fixes his mind at the time of death on the Lord, he will immediately acquire my nature, mad bhavam. And about this there is no doubt. There is no doubt. Yes. So, yes, we said Vyuda Vikalpa. Our doubts what we should do in our spiritual life are mainly based on our material existence. How we should base our material life, basically. But it's useless pondering, because our life should be devoted to Krishna, regardless of our material position. So if we live in a family, with a family, we should take care of family, of course, because we received our facilities in life just with one purpose, and this is serving of the Lord. Because we are not trying to come to the mode of goodness or anything material, because if we would just immerse ourselves in goodness, what does it mean? That means that we know that we are not this body. Isn't it true? And if we are not this body, then we do nothing. We leave our body somewhere and we don't bother about it, because we are not this body. Because we know that we are not, I don't know, this car outside. We don't care about this car, and we just leave it there. So if we would be just in complete sattva guna, we would just leave our body somewhere and don't bother about it. Yes, but this is not Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means that we are put in some circumstances in life with just one purpose: to serve Krishna. So we have this body and these surroundings around us, for example, family and so on, just to serve Krishna in that particular situation. Yes, it's not coincidence that we have this situation. This situation is meant for our purification. Yes, because everyone has its lot, as we say, his difficulties in life, in his own situation. Isn't it true? Is there anyone who has no difficulty in his life? Please raise your hands. No difficulty? Not even one. Not even one person. Yes, so everyone has his own difficulties. Yes, so these difficulties are meant for our purification. Yes, that we understand that we are not enjoyers in this world, that Krishna is the only enjoyer. Bhoktaram yagatapasan sarvalokam mahishwaram sukhridam sarvabhutanam gyatmamam shantim richati. Peace is attained not by attaining the situation that there will be no problems, but by knowing that Krishna is the enjoyer of everything. Yagya tapasam. Yagya means sacrifice, and sacrifice is all our life is some sacrifice. Every moment that you came here, it's a sacrifice. You sacrificed your time to come here. It is a sacrifice. And tapasam means some austerity. And without austerity, also we cannot live. As we say in Slovenian, that without endeavor, and endeavor means some kind of austerity, you cannot even put your shoe on. So we cannot eat without some endeavor. So every endeavor is some kind of austerity. Even sitting like this is also austerity. And I can see many of you are sitting like this first and then you move around, because it's not so easy. It's some kind of endeavor. And Krishna says, I'm the enjoyer of all austerities. So all our sacrifice and all our austerity should be meant just for His pleasure. Just for His pleasure. Yes. And of course someone would think, oh, Krishna is so terrible, just for his pleasure, everything. Why not even fraction of pleasure for me? It's like some tyrant or something. No, he says, Sukhridam sarvabhutanam. I'm the benefactor of every living entity. I'm his friend. Sukhridam. Hridam means heart, and everyone is at my heart. So I'm his best friend. And if we know this, that everything should be for Krishna's pleasure, and that Krishna in fact is our friend, that everything what will I do for Krishna's pleasure will be most beneficial for myself also, then we can be peaceful. Otherwise we will not be peaceful. And we'll be always disturbed, always disturbed, always disturbed. Yes. And so Krishna many times says that you should be satisfied. That I'm very pleased with one who is always satisfied. In fact, he says that this is austerity of the mind, to be satisfied. This is God's commandment. Be satisfied. It's not easy to be always satisfied, is it? Yes. But if we are not satisfied, then that means that we are not suprasidati. Is it true or not? That we are not completely happy if we are not satisfied. But we should be always satisfied in every circumstance, because we know this is Krishna's special mercy for me, this difficulty. Yes. And if we take it like this, that this is special mercy for me, then we'll be grateful, not disturbed, but grateful. It's of course not easy to achieve this state of consciousness, but we should know at least what is the right attitude. So Ganatarala Vyuda Vikalpa is about this, just to solve our material situation. But it's useless. We should remain in our situation and serve Krishna, just serve Krishna. Then next is Vishaya Sangara. That means that we cannot resist sensual temptations. because we are addicted to different enjoyments, and so we cannot resist when these enjoyments come. It's also explained by Krishna in 11th canto of Bhagavatam. And he says, Veda dukkhatmakam kamam parityagye pyanishvaraha. The devotee knows Veda dukkhatmakam kaman. What does dukkha means? Misery, suffering. Yes, he knows that that this sense enjoyment brings misery, but he cannot give them up. This, so he should just serve with satisfied mind, and repent, of course, his inability to control his senses. Yes. And this is Vishaya Sangara. We should know, of course, as Krishna said, that that all sense enjoyment leads to misery. So if that's why Srila Prabhupada always stressed that we should live just to keep body and soul together. Yes, so that means, what does it mean to keep body and soul together? To live healthy life, basically, not to now be such tapasvi that we nearly die of malnutrition. We should, of course, eat healthily, but not too much, not more than required. And we should live healthily also. That means some exercise for the body should also be there. Prabhupada said that he's walking, because he walked very, very, very fast. The young people hardly keep up with him. He was so quick in his walking. And he said that his walking saved him 10 years of his life. And in these 10 years, he saved our lives. Yes, exactly. So exercise is also important in our life. That doesn't mean that we exercise too much. So we shouldn't, as Krishna is explaining this in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Yukta hara viharasya yukta chishtasya karmasu yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. If we devote ourselves in Krishna consciousness, and we are balanced in everything, in sleeping, in eating, and in work, in recreation, then everything will be okay, more or less, of course, in this world. Everything will be okay. Yoga bhavati dukkha. That means that our practice of yoga will eradicate all misery. All misery. Yes. So we should have balanced life. And this Vishaya Sangara is, of course, unbalanced. We tend to enjoy things too much, because it just brings us some sensual pleasure. But sensual pleasure is in fact opposite of Krishna consciousness, because sensual pleasure brings our consciousness to the bodily platform. We want for body to experience some pleasure. And of course this is gross material consciousness. Yes, Vishaya Sangara. And then next thing we should be careful about is Niyamakshama. Niyamakshama means inability to keep our vows. That means, for example, we take a vow that we'll chant 16 rounds till 10 o'clock in the morning, for example. And one day we can do it, and the next day we cannot. Or that every day I'll go to Mangalarati. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. So we take some vows that we cannot keep. For example, we take a vow from today on, from tomorrow, I'll go to Mangalarati every day. Of course, somewhere else starts at 4:30. Here, I think it starts at 7:30. It's much easier. But 4:30 is quite early in the morning. So we take vow from today, from tomorrow. I will start going to Mangalarati every day, and we go 3-4 days maybe, and then we just sleep till 10 o'clock. And we cannot do it anymore. So in order to progress our spiritual practice, we should go in steps that we can put in practice permanently. Especially this is beneficial for some special dates, like Janmashtami, for example, or maybe holy months, as it was now Purushottama Mas, or like Kartik every year. It comes in October, November, and it's most merciful month, Kartik, and so it is really recommended that we should increase our spiritual practice, but not in the mode of passion, like this, that from today on I will increase so much that I hardly wait that the month of Kartik ends. This is not the point. We should increase in such step that it's a little bit uncomfortable to us, but that we can continue after this month is just enough long that we get used to it, to our new practice. Understand? And then when it ends, we are just used and we just continue. And then next Kartik we increase also a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes a day. It's not so much, but in 10 years, if we increase for 10 minutes in 10 years, how many minutes is this? 100 minutes is an hour and 40 minutes. Yes, it's quite something, isn't it? And in 20 years, it's more than 3 hours more of our sadhana. Yes. So, please consider this, how to increase step by step your devotional service. Because the goal is Kirtaniyak Sadahari. Sada means always. Always. And it's also said in the Bible. Krishna, Jesus said in the Bible, you should pray always and never get tired of it. Yes. So, yes, Niyamakshama is inability to follow our vows. And then is Tarangarangini. And Tarangarangini means the waves of enjoyment. And that means you receive some respect, especially if you, for sometimes in devotional service, and you know a little bit more than others, and you're senior to others by years, not necessarily by spiritual insight. People of course give you some respect, but which is natural, and that goes into your head. And you tend to think that you are so important devotee, that you're some kind of spiritual guide, and that people should bow down to you, or whatever. So this is Taranga Rangini. It's very, very detrimental for our spiritual progress. It's Labha Puja Pratishta consciousness. Labha means gain, that I do devotional service, devotional in like this. Gain means, of course, business deal. It's not devotional service, it's business. If we do our devotional service to gain something, it's business. So even before we are something great, so-called great, we should be very careful about this, because usually people, as we said, they do not know exactly what devotional service really is all about, and they think, if I worship the Lord, then I of course can pray for some benefits. Isn't it true? I can pray for health, I can pray for my family, I can pray for peace, I can pray for good relationship, I can pray for my exams, I can pray for this and that and so on. But this is explained by Prahlad Maharaj. This is merchant mentality. So I invest in my devotional service, and I want to have some return from my investment. Understand? So I serve the Lord, and then I expect that He will fulfill my material desires, and I even ask Him for this. And this is of course detrimental for our spiritual consciousness. This is not devotional service, this is business service. Business deal. Yes. So labha means material gain. So our service shouldn't be focused on any gain. And then puja means what? Worship. Puja means worship. So if we expect to be worshipped, it's of course also detrimental for our spiritual progress. And pratishta means respect, that you are respected, that you are dealt with something as to be something special. Is of course also detrimental. Okay, these are all unstable devotional service. This anishtita bhajana kriya. Nishta means fixed in our devotional service, and anishtita means not fixed, not fixed in our practice. Okay. Do you have any questions or doubts or comments? Please.
You told we should seek for association with advanced devotees.
Yes.
But for example, if there is a new devotee and he has association with advanced brahmacharis, for example, and he cannot keep up to waking up so early, or he cannot keep up doing service, or through he's sick, for example, is it not counterproductive if he would be with his advanced devotees?
If they are really advanced, no. It will be highly beneficial, because then these devotees can advise him how to act in different circumstances. They're not fanatical. If they're fanatical, that means that they do not understand the essence. You understand the difference? So you're just fanatical brahmacharis, for example, and they force him to get up even if he's sick and so on. Prabhu, you're not this body. Yes, this is fanaticism. It's not understanding. Prabhupada was most staunch in his devotional service, isn't it true? But he was very concerned about health, and he even built this guest house in Vrindavan just for devotees to be comfortable, that they can focus on Krishna, not on their bodily demands. So if someone is advanced, that means he's not fanatical, and he'll be most beneficial association, even for a new beginner. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the lecture. I had two very simple questions. Like, and in the Shikshashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to be humble than a blade of straw grass in the street, and be tolerant as a tree. Like, it is very easy to say that be humble than the like more humble than that straw of grass, but how can one be humble? Like, how does do I immediately become humble, or like you have to go through something?
Yes. First, we have to know what is to be humble. What is humbleness? What is it?
You put your needs before others. Put others' needs before
To put others' needs before yourself, you said? Is okay. Do you have any idea? What does it mean to be humble?
To be open for Krishna's guidance.
Open for Krishna's guidance. Yes. Any other idea?
Not demand attention.
Not
Demanding attention.
Not demanding attention. It's true. Everything is true. To serve. But one thing is the most important to know. What is real humbleness? Real humbleness is to know your position, who you really are. Then you will be humble. Because Krishna, it says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Jivara Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. We are always Krishna's servant. And this is our position, to be Krishna's servant. If we think of ourselves of something else, that means we are not humble. Even straw in the street identifies as straw in the street, not as Krishna's servant. So we should be more humble than a straw in the street. Understand? And if we are identify as Krishna's servant, then we'll serve every living entity, in fact, because we see that every living entity is a amsha of Krishna. Mamaivam sho jiva loke jiva bhutak sanatana. Krishna says that every living entity is my eternal part and parcel, my eternal amsha. So we are eternal servants of every living entity. Yes. But that doesn't mean that we should fulfill every crazy desire of conditioned souls. If someone sends us for a bottle of wine, we shouldn't say, yes, we are your eternal servant and I should serve you and bring you whatever you need and want from me. No, we should serve Krishna. And serve this living entity, conditioned, poor living entity, in such a way that will help him to somehow or other turn to Krishna. Understand? And in the way that is beneficial for him or her. Yes. This is humbleness. This is humbleness. Yes. So what was the question?
Yes, like you answered my question, like to know your position and like that we are eternally the servants of Krishna and to know, realize that position.
Yes, and this position will not realize without our serious and sincere practice. Yes.
And the second question was when you were talking about sometimes we're enthusiastic and we get up for Mangalarti and we chant 16 rounds, and sometimes we are not and we don't chant at all. So like how can a devotee be consistent and progress on path of bhakti then? Like if we are entangled in material life too much.
In fact, devotee should tend to not be entangled in material life at all. That doesn't mean that we give our job, that we give up our job or to give up our family and so on, but to understand that our job is also expression of our service to Krishna. We just go to our job just to serve Krishna, and for no other reason. Understand?
But then how do we know that we are serving Krishna?
Because we spend our money just for devotional service. Understand?
Yes.
Yes. If we spend our money for sense enjoyment, it's certainly not devotional service. But if we spend our money for Krishna's pleasure, for his devotees, and for propagating of Krishna consciousness, and of course also for our family that can live peacefully and practice Krishna consciousness, then everything is service of Krishna. Especially if we have this mentality: Krishna, I'm your servant. I go to this job just to serve you. Please help me to keep this consciousness always with me. Then, but how to be fixed in our devotional practice? First, of course, we should have faith, and as we said, this faith will bring us enthusiasm. If we don't have faith, we won't be enthusiastic. Then we'll just wavering, So we should deepen our faith, and we will deepen our faith with association of advanced devotees, because they are full of faith, and whatever consciousness one has in our proximity, that will also go to us, because there are impressions all over this world. Wherever we go, whoever we meet, and whatever we meet, it leaves some impression on our consciousness. Our consciousness is like wax. You know what is wax? So, and in ancient times, they sealed in wax. No? They put seal in the wax. And our consciousness is like this. And wherever we go, whatever impression we receive from in the environment is just like seal in our wax. So we should be very careful with what we associate. Yes, because it will leave an impression in our consciousness, if we know it or not. Yes, and this is not just Krishna conscious philosophy. It's also explained by psychologists. It leaves a deep impression in our consciousness. So it's important to have association of advanced devotees, because their attitude, their enthusiasm will left a deep impression in our consciousness. And it is explained this with the story of Narada Muni. Narada Muni was, in his previous life, son of some maidservant. And during Chaturmasya, the raining season, and then also in autumn, some sages came to their house, And Narada Muni served them very humbly and meekly. And once he asked them for permission to receive their remnants, if he can eat some of their remnants. And their association kept left a deep impression on his consciousness. And later on, when his mother died because she was bitten by a snake, and she died, he was able to leave everything behind and just went into search for the Lord. Yes, because of this impression. So we should seek good association in devotional service, because this will put devotional impressions in our heart, and we will easier bring our practice to some stable, fixed level. Hare Krishna. Yes?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for your lecture. You told about balance.
Yes.
So for everything we should keep in balance, food, our life. But sometimes we need, for example, here in the temple, prasadam. Prasadam is mercy.
Yes.
On the feast we can eat a little bit more. How could we find this balance? For example, sometimes in materialistic people also have a balance, but they don't interesting about spiritual. How this balance help us for spiritual progress?
Yes, it's an important question. Thank you. In the beginning, Prabhupada also recommended sometimes that in the beginning devotee can have more prasad than needed, especially boys, because they give up all other sense enjoyment, and this is some kind of allowed sense enjoyment, beneficial sense enjoyment in some way. And but we should know it is wrong mentality even for prasad, because in this mentality if we eat too much prasad, this is mentality of enjoyment prasad, but we should honor prasad, we should worship prasad. So Prabhupada never overate. Yes. But of course in the beginning we can eat a little more, but we will suffer. Once in Ljubljana Temple in Slovenia, it was Janmashtami, and some devotee ate so much gulab jamuns or something. I don't know how much, 50 or something. So much that he was taken to the hospital and they had to pump his stomach. And of course this is great suffering. It's not just, yes, prasadam is mercy. So we should be careful, even if we are young devotees. Of course we can bear more, but we will definitely suffer. So when we progress in spiritual life, we should have more spiritual consciousness. So this is prasad, and I worship prasad and take it just to keep my body and soul together. Yes. Please.
sometimes we are kind of in a dilemma. So sometimes there's some prasadam left, and the distributor they tell, please take it because otherwise we have to throw it away. But actually you are full, so how do you deal with this?
Yes, this is practical question.
So either you have to throw away and then you does not honor prasadam, or you eat it and you are
The best is to connect with some farmers.
to connect with some.
Farmers. Ma- yes. To give to animals, because animals will benefit from having prasad. If we overeat, there will be no benefit from this. We'll just suffer. So if it's possible to give some animals this prasad, would be very beneficial, and also to be wise how much prasad should be prepared. Of course, not too little, because we shouldn't have too little prasad. We should have enough prasad for everyone, but not huge amounts too much. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So there are times in everyone's life where Maya has an upper hand, and these factors, the detrimental factors that you just mentioned, they are there, present. So in those times, how to concentrate on bhakti and how to not get distracted, like whenever the situations are not favorable around us.
Yes. This is important question. So, have you heard the question?
No.
The question was that sometimes Maya is very strong and distract us from devotional service, and how in this situation keep on the track of devotional service. Yes. So the answer is that we should mold our life in such a way that our only life is Krishna and Krishna's devotees. If we keep any other association than Krishna devotees, that will be detrimental. Because whenever Maya comes in stronger wave, and it comes, then we'll move away from a devotee association to material association. But if we focus our life only on association of Krishna's devotees and temple and so on, then we'll be safe. And if we have we should turn our homes also into the temple. So we should take care of home deities, and we should have regular programs with families. The family that prays together stays together, and the family that sings together clings together, and the family who dances together advances together. So a family should always have morning spiritual program and evening spiritual program, always, without exception.
What if we are living alone?
If you are living alone, this is not beneficial. But
Family too with Krishna. We are living alone, but we have family with Krishna.
yes.
It's also beneficial.
As I said before, we shouldn't be independent. This is not Vedic process. Because if we are independent, that means we are also more vulnerable in the times of struggle. If we live in some community, family or in the temple, then we are protected by others. Because these waves of Maya don't come for everyone at the same time. So, as it is saying, one should be his brother keeper. That means he looks after his brother or sister, of course, and to help him whenever needed. So, if we live alone, that means that we should more focus on temple life. To come together every day for morning and evening program. Because if we don't have family to do this together with the family, we should come to devotee association to have this together with devotees. Yes. Otherwise, we are in danger. Yes, in danger. Because Maya will come. But if, for example, if we live in a family and we have these spiritual programs together, then you know that other family members will look, what's wrong with you if you if you don't keep up your sadhana as should be, there should be. So that's why it's called ashram. Grihastha ashram, brahmacharya ashram, vanaprastha ashram, and sannyasa ashram. Ashram means shelter. So why it's called shelter? Because it's safe place. Yes. And if we don't live in any ashram, then we should seek association in ashram, in temple, because it's also safe place. Yes. Our shelter. Hare Krishna. Yes, please.
Okay, last question.
Okay, last question.
So we discuss about unconditional love. So when we have unconditional love towards Krishna, it's like we don't go to just in forest or jungle, because we have similar unconditional love with other creature also, my family or other animal. But we discuss also yesterday about the pure love. So I'm just confused, when there's a pure love and unconditional love together, how can that be possible? Because we only pure love with only Lord, not like other creature. So when we have unconditional love in same point of time, we are also having a pure love.
Unconditional love and pure love is no difference.
Please repeat the question.
The question is how to have pure love and unconditional together. Is it correct?
No. Yeah, because I was thinking pure love is different than unconditional.
He is saying that he understands that pure love is different than unconditional love. And then, what is the question?
So that's what you said, is same, right?
Yes. Unconditional love means that we don't expect anything for in return for our love. And pure love means exactly the same. We don't expect anything for our love. We just love for the love's sake. Understand? For the benefit of the beloved. Everything for the benefit of the beloved. Yes. And this is pure love. And we don't ask for anything for ourselves, and we don't expect anything for ourselves, and this is unconditional. That means pure love is unconditional. Yes. Ahetuki bhakti.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Last question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I have two parts in the question. So first is, so we said that we should not try to please our sensory needs. Like, is listening to kirtans, addiction to listening to kirtans is also an offense?
So the question is that we should not satisfy our sensual needs too much, and if addiction to hearing kirtan is like this, engage in sense enjoyment, is it correct?
I really enjoy listening to kirtans. Like, even if I'm off for like 10 minutes, then immediately I start missing and I start again, listening to it. like at times I feel like, is it my satisfaction for my ear, otherwise it is satisfaction for my soul.
Yes, so it is this satisfaction for my ear or satisfaction for my soul is the question. Yes, this is beneficial addiction. We should be addicted to Krishna. In fact, we cannot give up our addiction to matter if we don't get addicted to Krishna. So we should seek for addiction in our life. And we should be addicted to Krishna. Otherwise, it's impossible to give up other addictions. Yes, this is the only process, to become addicted. And of course, to be addicted to Krishna. And Kirtan is the way of connecting to Krishna. Yes, so and it is explained by acharyas that this how to say that we like some kirtan more than others. It lasts even to the stage of ruchi, to first stages of ruchi. That means even beyond fixed devotional service, beyond the state of nishta. And we like some melodies more than others. But on the highest stages of ruchi, of taste for devotional service, even this will vanish. It will love every kirtan. Yes.
The other question was, so when we chant, when we worship, otherwise serve Lord, you said like we should not ask for anything because that becomes like a business. What if I want to ask Lord that always keep me close to you and always be with me? Is that also a business? Otherwise, is it okay to have such?
So the question is, we discussed that asking the Lord for anything material is business deal. So if asking the Lord to always be with me and to keep me close to you, is this also like business deal? No, it's natural. It's natural. We want to be with someone who we love. It's natural. If we would demand anything else, that would be love. That would be something else. So, of course, we want to be with those who we love, and we suffer in their separation. And this is the whole Vrindavan Lila is about meeting and separation, and hankering for association, for union. Okay, thank you very much.
I mean, this is just an organizational question because some of us missed some of the parts of your seminar.
Yes.
Maybe can you say which channel or podcast or webpage can we go to listen to the rest of the episode?
Yes, youtube.com/consciousness revolution.
Consciousness Revolution.
Yes, but there is not so much subscribers, so usually you cannot find it just like this. So you should really put everything. youtube.com/consciousness revolution, and then you'll find it.